G'day guys. How many times have you carefully approached a pool from the back only to spook a trout in the shallows? And the worst part is, he runs straight up the middle of the pool and tells all his mates about you. It's like one of your friends running in the back door and shouting, "Hey, there's some big ugly dude out the back there." Well, today, I'm going to give you some strategies for effectively fishing tailouts. Maybe the hardest part of the pool to fish, but sometimes the most rewarding as well. Let's go. So if you learn to fish tailouts more effectively, not only can you catch more of the fish in the pool, but you might end up spooking less fish up the pool as well. So there's a big advantage to learning to do this properly.
We can broadly divide a pool into three sections. The fast water at the head of the pool, the middle of the pool, which is often deeper and slower water, and then the tail out at the back of the pool, where the water starts to get shallower and faster before turning into a fast water riffle or rapid section.
So why are tailouts such great habitat for trout? Well, for a start, it's coming out of the deep section in the middle of the pool and it starts to funnel up. So all of the food starts to funnel up to the fish and the current starts to speed up a little bit. That means there's more food coming past the fish with the current speed. Secondly, the currents are often more even and predictable at the back of the pool. At the top of the pool, there can be a lot of turbulence and swirling around. The currents can be a little bit confusing. And I think trout prefer even current. It's easier for them to hold in and easier for them to feed in. And thirdly, it can give the fish a little bit more protection from large predator fish coming from behind them. So why are tailouts so difficult to fish? Well, for a start, the fish tend to be in shallow, clear water with a smooth surface, so you're more visible. It's easier to spook them, especially if you get over the top of them or to the side of them. But more importantly, the biggest issue with tailouts is drag. You see, the water is speeding up towards the back of the pool, so the surface currents behind the fish are going faster. That means when you cast your fly in there, your fly line and everything behind the fly is dragging faster, and your fly starts to drag almost immediately. So let's look at a few strategies to overcome that and ways that you can effectively fish the tail out of a pool. So the first thing that you're going to want to do when you approach a pool from the back is find a good viewing angle where you can see into the water a little bit and see what's going on. We all love to walk straight up to the back of a pool and just start casting away. But if you do that, the chances are that you're just going to spook the fish before you actually get a shot at them. So try to get back and a little bit to the side, find a good angle where you can see into the water a little bit without spooking the fish, and try to assess the lay of the land. See if there's any good holding lies, deep slots, current obstructions at the back of the pool there, and try to come up with a good angle of approach. So if you decide that your best approach is from downstream, you're going to need to get pretty close and stay low over the water because your rod tip is going to need to be up above the rapids where it drops into the next fast section. Otherwise, your fly line and everything is going to land in that super fast water and rip your fly out too quickly. So it might require you to get down and kneel and high stick your rod, cast short and hold your leader and line up above the water as much as possible.
You're going to need to manage your slack carefully if you fish from here. Retrieve any slack as the fly drifts towards you and keep your line out of that fast water.
So sometimes a side approach can be more effective than trying to fish from downstream, but you're going to need to be very careful not to spook the fish. You'll have to keep low and move slowly around the edges to get into position. When you are fishing from the side, your line is going to be travelling in the same current speed as your fly, so drag will be less of an issue. But even so, you're still going to want to make a good slack line presentation, either a pile cast or a negative curve cast with your line and leader landing upstream of the fly.
If you'd like to learn how to make these slack line and negative curve casts, have a look at the video I've linked above in the info tab.
Another effective way to approach from behind the fish is to use a tight line system, a Euro nymphing rig basically, where you're fishing a tight line straight through the water to nymphs or even to a nymph under dry. A nymph under dry system on a Euro rig is fantastic for this situation because you can hold all of your line off the water and you don't have the drag problem from the faster water at the back of the pool.
You don't necessarily have to have a dedicated Euro nymphing rod to do this. It's quite possible to do on a normal dry fly rod, simply by extending out your leader with a long section of tippet. This is much easier to do if you have a tippet ring at the end of your tapered section of dry fly leader.
Now, the other really useful approach for fishing tailouts is to get upstream of the fish and fish down and across to them. That could mean swinging nymphs or wet flies or even streamers down and across the tail of the pool. In order to get into position though, you're going to have to give the fish a wide berth at the back. So get out before the back of the pool, try to get in away from the river a little bit and make your way carefully upstream and then come in the middle of the pool so that you don't spook the fish. Now, if the tail out is just too hard, if you haven't got an effective angle of approach, then maybe the best strategy is just to give it a wide berth. Get out of the river before the tail out and skirt around it so that you don't spook those fish at the back of the pool up and ruin the rest of the pool. Now, in the next video, I'm going to give you some effective strategies for adding a nymph under your dry fly to fish those deeper sections through the middle of the pool. See you there.